Whether it's indigestion of a toxic material or the sting of a venomous creature, one thing is for certain: there is no pleasure in being poisoned. Transfer that fact into the world of Pokemon and not much has changed. And while it's an agonizing experience for the one in the receiving end, especially knowing the amount of pain and damage these monsters can inflict, it's the exact opposite for the one on the giving end. For having it or not literally means the difference between life and death. Even though I have a great fear of being poisoned in the real world, in Pokemon this has to be without a doubt my least favorite type. While I can see how some of the Pokemon of this type can be useful in competitive play, I just can't bring myself to like the grand majority of them. Design wise, they usually look either uninspiring or straight up unpleasant. The few that I do like are either because their secondary type complements them very well, or they have been useful in my journey to becoming the Pokemon champion. Although the latter was not usually the case, since whenever I had the chance, I would always put the poison type Pokemon back in the box, never to be used again. Want more proof that I don't like this type? I hate every single mono poison type Pokemon. However, despite the poison type community being extremely toxic, there exist a handful of diamonds in the rough. A few Pokemon of this type that I like. Right off the baseball club, we begin with a creature introduced in the newest Pokemon games, the poisonous tank from the seas, Toxapex. Based off a crown of thorns starfish, the 748th pocket monster in the National Pokédex is a fantastic wall. With a base defense of 152, base special defense of 142, and resistance to 8 types, this sturdy mutated cousin of Patrick Star laughs at your pathetic attempt to decommission it. Think that its low HP hinders its walling effect? Well, enough of your bullshit attempts at killing Toxapex. Time to take the offense. That pathetic little runt of yours has been poisoned by either switching into the toxic spikes or being directly hit with the move Toxic. It is now time for you to die. The Brutal Star Pokemon is absolutely merciless. It will critically wound any opposition already hit by its venomous power. It's like a torture chamber all well compacted into one Pokemon. It punctures on its prey's flesh, starts to nibble on its wounds, and eventually, Toxapex finishes its meal, leaving only crumbs on the dinner plate. That is not me hyperbolizing anything, just read the Pokédex entry in Sun. Nice nod to its real life counterpart though. It's a creature of children's nightmares, a creature from below sea level. Born to raise hell. It knows it does it, and it does it really well. Next time trainers can dive underwater, they better watch out. They better not cry. They better not pound. And I'm telling you why. Toxapex is coming for you. Awkwardly enough, one of the many missing things from the original generation of Pokemon is gender. That is, of course, with one exception, the Nidoran family. Out of the first gender-specific Pokemon, a royal pair exists. A queen with the defensive power of a mother protecting her offspring, or the territorial brutality of an alpha king. I choose you, Nidoking. Cease all activities, you peasant Gen 1 poison types. Your king is at your presence. Kneel down before him or else perish at the might of his venomous diamond-piercing horns. In all seriousness, despite its Pokédex entries and quite ferocious appearance, stat-wise, Nidoking is quite lacking. Even after its buff in physical attacks, it's nothing to write home about. Despite said solid attack, Nidoking has mediocre speed, holding it back from being a sweeper, and with average defensive capabilities, it really can't survive in the land of competitive Pokemon despite the royal status. Even with that, I find a lot to love about the King of Nidos. For one, a poison ground duo typing sounds fantastic. The sheer destructive power of Earthquake with the Toxic Shield effective against many common offensive type moves. It's baffling to know that he and his female counterpart are the only two to currently exist with this dual typing. On top of the amazing typing, he is capable of learning a massive pool of TM moves and some powerful ones by simply leveling up, making it extremely deadly on the journey to becoming the Pokemon League champion. Lastly, its design. Holy shit, its design! Spikes and breastplates? Looks like a living tank! If only it had the ability of No Guard. Horn Drill and Fissure for days, motherfucker. With 16 badges in hand and red eliminated, what is there to do now? Wait, now I can have a rematch with gym leaders? Oh fuck yeah! Come on Janine, let me overwhelm you with my Pokeballs. What the fuck is that? I want it, now! Drapion is truly the first poison type I ever liked. To start off, it looks intimidating, with massive mandibles that look like they can both crush and poison. It truly looks like something that should be feared if encountered in the wild. But let's give it a deeper look. With a dual poison dark type, it stands as a monster with only one type weakness. Toppled with a solid defense base stat and moderately decent speed, this Ogre Scorpion is not too shabby. Although its attack is not impressive, it does hold a trump card that can help it become a decent physical wall to stop Ludicolo from entering. Its ability Sniper. With this in hand, Drapion now has a mandible whose critical hit damage is 1.5 times that of a normal crit. And being capable of learning moves like Cross Poison and Night Slash, I sense a terrible omen approaching when being hit by one of those fangs. Even without its consistent usage of critical hits, this is one versatile Pokemon. The Elemental Fangs, Pursuit, Bug Bite, Earthquake, Brick, Rock Tomb, Aerial Ace, and much more. But this right here is the best, doubling its speed in one go. On top of the high critical hit damage, you have one Arachnid to fear. Fire Poison is a type duo that sounds amazing on paper, and holy shit, they finally made one. And it's good looking. I really hope furries don't make certain fan art of this one. It doesn't even have fur. Nonetheless, Salazzle is awesome. A reptilian beast equipped with tools to burn and poison this very planet, inflicting a slow yet certain death. Well, not really. Boasting a base speed of 117, it is almost as fast as Hawlucha and Mega Salamence, and on top of that, it has a respectable base special attack of 111, making Salazzle quite an effective sweeper. Although her move pool leaves much more to be desired, this reptilian queen has an ability to be feared by other venomous rivals and metallic pocket monsters, for with it, they too can succumb to the effects of poison, thus making their tactic of switching into her completely useless. Her fire poison duo type grants Salazzle with 8 resistances, 3 of them being times 1/4, and one of those 3 being the ever feared fairy type. With its ability to learn Dragon Pulse on top of its stab attacks, she can potentially prove deadly to every single Pokemon since Dragon goes good against all types except Fairy and Steel. And since Poison beats Fairy and Fire beats Steel, there aren't too many options to completely shut down Salazzle. There is a reason I have one in my Sun team. She is one dangerous, cold-blooded killer. Oh, and one more thing. Are those supposed to outline breast? Game Freak, you bunch of perverts. I did mention in the intro of this video that I always stored any poison type Pokemon as soon as I had the chance. This happened all but one time. A single poison type Pokemon managed to sneak its way into my main team in Pokemon Soul Silver. Crobat, you are a sneaky little bastard. The final evolution of that pesky little bat that plagued every damn cave in Pokemon, Crobat is truly the light at the end of the Zubat infested tunnel. Those who made the decision to fully evolve one of the swarming bats were truly rewarded, for this is one of the best hit and run Pokemon out there. Its massive speed is base 130, the same as that of Mewtwo, allowing it to attack first almost all the time. The thing that truly makes Crobat frustrating to deal with from the receiving end is the combination of the 4 moves my Crobat has been using since Gen 4. U-Turn, Super Fang, Roost, and most importantly, Taunt. Opponent decides to start the match with Barrier, Light Screen, or any of the entry hazard moves, taunt them, and watch them become useless and forced to switch out. Enemy wants to recover after taking massive damage? Not on my watch. Any form of buffs? Taunts will stop them in their tracks. Super Fang grants Crobat a tool to half the total HP of an enemy regardless of total health. It didn't matter how much HP Pokemon like Snorlax and Blissey have, this move splits it in half. With the job now done, it's time for it to return with U-Turn. Let the next Pokemon in and clean up whatever Crobat crippled up. With this bat, I was able to breeze through the Elite Four in Soul Silver, especially Koga. My road through the Johto League was made possible simply because I did not underestimate the power of Perfect Zubat. The darkness is scary, but with Crobat in hand, I can conquer anything.